So this the Pork and Bean Projects, right? But now if you look at this sign, now it say Liberty Square, now leasing. You see that?
Wow.
So they shut down these projects to move all the people out. They go put some money into it and then make it to the point to where the people that was living there before can't even afford to stay there. You've been following me online, you know that I'm a real estate investor, I'm a business credit consultant. Mr. Darrell Finley, Flybook, SBU. Come check us out. SBU is Silverback University, the apes in the room. Don't forget it. We make a move with that all day. And it's just always about if you can work out the particulars. You know what I'm saying? You make your money on the front end. If you buy too high, you stuck, you know. So everything is all the negotiations and all the due diligence. That's what I want to say. You got to do all that prior to the climax of submitting an offer, right? But you know, luckily a property like that, you know, the seller know that it needs a substantial amount of work, so you know they're willing to negotiate usually. So we'll see. Opportunity zone, so that's great. Tax advantages for the future. When you're talking about investing in real estate, the first thing you got to understand is the value of the property. How much can the property appraise for? How much is the property worth? You have to know the answer to that question first quarter, because that answer is going to help you determine how much you need to offer for the property to buy it and how much you need to put into the property to rehab it. Right? So that's the first thing. You have to understand the value of it. How much is it worth? That question needs to be answered. The second question, once you understand how much it's worth, the second question that has to be answered is how much do you need to put into the property? Now, as time goes on, based on the square footage, the bed and the bath of the property, and your experience, you can kind of gauge how much you're going to put into it. Because, you know, for the most part, most investors, we try to do things exactly the same. So all of our bathrooms look the same. All our kitchens look the same. It's not that we don't have taste. We just know that this is the amount that it's going to cost us more or less to do what we're doing. And once again, if we put too much into it, if we buy it for too much, then that decreases the profit margin for us. And I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I don't invest in real estate to not make money. I invest in real estate to make money. That's the number two reason I invest. The number one reason I invest is if I can, I want to be the solution to someone's problem. Right? If I can, I want to be the solution to someone's problem. So that means that I want to give a person the opportunity to pay a rent that's substantial to something that they can afford, right? So my units that I rent, all of them are below the market value, meaning I get less than what I can actually get just trying my best to help people have some place that they can afford to stay. Doesn't always work out like that. Some situations you just have to charge what it's worth in order for you to sustain the property itself. But for the most part, if I can acquire a property, if I can buy it cheap enough, if I can rehab it cheap enough to the point to where I can charge less than the market rent, I'll have no problem with doing that. I'm okay with that. I'm not talking for any other investor, but I'm okay with that. So that's like the number one reason that I invest in real estate. But once again, you got to understand the value of the property, and then you got to understand how much you're going to put into the property. You can get those two questions answered definitive, like a finite answer to those questions. You cooking with grease. You in good shape. So we driving through a real sticky area in the city of Miami. We right here by the Pork and Bean Projects. They actually shut the beans down Like a lot of people had to find someplace else to stay. So this the Pork and Bean Projects, right? But now if you look at this sign, now it say Liberty Square, now leasing. You see that?
Wow.
So they shut down these projects to move all the people out. They go put some money into it and then make it to the point to where the people that was living there before can't even afford to stay there. Yeah, it's going on right here every day, right here in the city of Miami. See, they're building up stuff right here across the street. What this gonna be? We don't know. And then they probably do the same thing with this building right here. So we call that moving the black people out. So if I'm offering 60,000 and I'm putting 40 in it, that's 100,000 I'm all in, and it's worth 200,000. It's my type of play. I love it. So the question on the floor is, where are you going to get the 60,000 acquisition and the 40,000 rehab?
Great question.
So where are you going to get 100,000? So before you contact an owner of a property, you have to have the answer to that question. Where am I going to get the money? So this is why we talk about credit so much, because $100,000 in credit is peanuts. But you got to be in position. Yeah, this the one I wanted to go to.
Okay.
We got all type of things. Get up. You've been following me online. You know that I'm a real estate investor. I'm a business credit consultant. Mr. Darrell Finley, Flybook, SBU. Come check us out. SBU is Silverback University, the apes in the room. Don't forget it.